Well, for me, like sort of like a stressful thought would be just during the day, that just that basic background, I'm no good, which
Hmm.
will always be there. I'm no good, or I failed, or I'll never make it, or a lot of the thoughts are I'm going to die or I'm dying. Okay.
Hmm.
And so that's like a stressful thought. And then I'll usually go, is that true? And, and just go through it in my head and find some relief. But the thought I'm dying, what would you do with that? Because it's a thought and it's a feeling, I guess, because there's like a depressive feeling with it, or a low feeling. And do you have to just keep doing that forever? Because I do a lot of that. Is that true? Is that true? It's my mantra during the day. And is there a point where those thoughts don't come up anymore, or they come up but they don't, attach to us as much?
Yeah, my experience is they come up a little less frequently and are a little less sticky, and it seems to be kind of a gradient. It's not some things just disappear. I don't think that particular thought anymore. Rarely ever comes up, and if it does, it just kind of passes through. But some, it's like a gradual lessening of that kind of thought coming up again and again, or that it's coming up, but it's just not landing or
Yeah.
attaching as much. One thing that helps with those kind of thoughts um, is to get into the specifics of them. And so I'm dying, that can come up in many different contexts. I'm no good can come up in almost any context. It's probably sitting there. Or I failed can come up in so many different contexts. So having a specific situation in mind can really help to make the inquiry when I do it more meaningful. And what I find the most difficult kind of work to do is just the most general things, like I'm no good in general, like, oh my God, like how do I work that? Like I can work it, but it's so huge that sometimes it feels like any work I do is a drop in the bucket. It just doesn't feel like it makes any difference. It's just so huge. But when I go into, oh right, you know, last week on the pickleball court, I was up 10 points to 2 and then lost in the end 11 to 12 to 10 or something. You know, like I'm no good in that particular moment. I know exactly what I mean, and then I know exactly what I'm thinking about. I can remember the sensations. I'm there. So context really helps when doing the work on these general concepts. And then, as you mentioned, like the difference between just doing it in your head, like that is like also kind of general because the mind doesn't get into the details as much. It's like, oh yeah, turn that around. I'm not dying. Okay, okay, yeah. And you kind of get a feeling of it. It's not nothing. It is valuable, but there's something to be said about like again, finding a specific situation and then going really into the details of it on paper or with a partner and kind of like really getting into the fine fabric of that. And I find that to be more helpful generally than the quick turnarounds that I do just in my head. But I still do those. They're good too. Yeah.